Resident Evil 6 is often considered to be the black sheep of the franchise. People call it the worst mainline game in the series, because, well...
Please stop!
Put a bullet in your head!
Put your gun down!
Drop your
Don't do this!
But it seems like there's one game that people hate even more, for a multitude of reasons that we'll get to in this video. The game is...
Resident Evil 0.
At the time, Resident Evil was known for a lot of things. Fixed cameras, tank controls, spooky monsters, conspiracies, and of course the best dialogue ever.
It's me, Chris.
Is that you, Rebecca?
Oh, hi, Johnny. I didn't know it was you. Here you go.
That's me. Hi, doggy.
But after Resident Evil 0, it was also known for trains. Trains?
I like trains.
I've played most of the Resident Evil games, but I've never played 0. I just heard from other people that it's annoying and weird. Let's see if that's true. A singing dude standing on a mountain sends leeches to a train where they proceed to infect everyone and turn them into zombies. That's certainly one way to start a Resident Evil game.
What the fuck?
2 hours later, STAR's Bravo team were heading to the area to investigate some bizarre murders, which we would later learn were caused by the zombies in the first game.
Bizarre murder cases have recently occurred in Raccoon City. Bravo team went to the hideout of the group and disappeared.
I'm sure having 0 in the title gave it away, but this game serves as a prequel to the original, and takes place one day before the Mansion incident. So we know none of these characters are gonna make it. Yay! During the opening narration, Sheena Island is mentioned. Like it or not, this one line makes Resident Evil Survivor canon. If only Ark Thompson was in this game. He defeated like 100 Mr. X's.
It's me, your mother.
My mother?
He could have been useful, but he's not here. The protagonist of this game is the lovely Rebecca Chambers. You know, that one rookie you meet as Chris in RE1. But calling her a rookie after everything she'll go through in this game is kind of weird. You'll see why.
Nothing in our training could ever have prepared us for the nightmare that ensued. We never stood a chance.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate. So get this, she's a cop and a medic with a university degree. She's only 18, by the way. What have you been doing with your life when you were 18 years old, huh? Their helicopter crashes, which is something that happens to literally every helicopter in the franchise. Unless it's the end of the game, then the helicopter is safe. But that's not the only thing that's crashed. They find an upside-down car with a bunch of dead people and a report about a prisoner named Billy Cohen. He was sentenced for execution, but managed to escape. Rebecca's captain, Enrico, immediately decides that they need to go search for him. Even though it wasn't part of their mission, did he just forget why they came here?
You've become senile.
All right, everyone, let's separate and survey the area. Our friend is brutal and ruthless. Keep your guard up.
They suspect Billy is highly dangerous, so of course they do the logical thing and split up in this dark forest, because they're very smart. Rebecca finds the train, decides to explore it, gets inside, and the game begins. Wow, this game is gorgeous. It looks like the RE1 remake and it still holds up. Fixed camera angles never looked better. Like in that remake and the original, and unlike RE2 and RE3, you have time to get used to the controls. But the second you go to the next area, the first chronological zombie appears. And then a bunch more. It's kind of brutal, and you will definitely get bitten because there's not a lot of place to maneuver, but this tiny lady is strong, so she pushes 2 of them at the same time and runs away. As much as we love Rebecca, we have to admit that she's bad at her job. Like the worst. Billy shows up, you know, the one she needs to arrest.
You seem to know me. Been fantasizing about me, have you?
And she's like, sir, excuse me, sir. You're under arrest. Can I please arrest you?
You're under arrest.
And he's like, nah, I'm good, and just leaves. When suddenly, one of her squad members comedically flies from the window and is like,
The forest is full of zombies and monsters.
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 Zombies and
Monsters.
Zombies and monsters?
Zombies and monsters.
Hey, you didn't say anything about dogs. They jump from the window, like in that one jump scare in the first game, and you can just ignore the footage where they're kicking my ass. That totally didn't happen. Look at this zombie just chilling in the corner. He sees me, but is too lazy to do anything. After totally not dying, Rebecca gets a call from Enrico, who tells her that Billy killed 23 people and that he's highly dangerous. So of course she does not report seeing him. Why are you so bad at your job, Rebecca? She then finds this supposedly highly dangerous individual and is really trying to sound intimidating. She's really trying, like a little kitty that gets puffy.
You expect me to trust you, a wanted felon? I don't need your help. I can handle this on my own. And don't call me little girl.
All right, Miss Do-It-Yourself. What should I call you?
The name is Rebecca Chambers, but that's Officer Chambers to you.
Well then, Rebecca, why don't you go and try while I wait here?
Before moving on, we find out that this train is owned by Umbrella. Because of course they're involved. Billy is obviously scared of this tiny lady, so that's why he sends her alone. But her tough demeanor is quickly shattered when she encounters this old man. And not just because old people are scary, but because he transforms into diarrhea.
Yup. Diarrhea.
Honestly, it's not that scary. It looks like what you'd find in any public toilet. This is the Leech Man. Yes, it's a zombie made out of leeches. Now there aren't just zombies and monsters.
Zombies and monsters.
There's also leeches. I like how different branches of Umbrella took the T-virus, the one that infected everyone in the original game, and combined it with other stuff. And each combination gives vastly different results. In Code Veronica, they used ants. In Zero, it's leeches. Clearly the Veronica virus is stronger. Not everybody can just bitch slap Wesker like that. She almost gets devoured, but Billy saves the day in slow motion.
Are you okay?
Which finally makes her trust him enough to cooperate. They know they can't survive on their own. Especially since they only have 6 inventory slots. Okay, it's time to talk about why people really hate this game. Up until now, it seems like your typical Resident Evil game. You go into a spooky, claustrophobic place, there are zombies, umbrellas, blah blah blah. But the second you team up with Billy is when the game finally shows you its ugly tricks. Yeah, this game has co-op, even though it's an offline, single-player game. Capcom was playing around with 2 protagonists since the start of the series. You always played as 2 characters at least, even in Resident Evil 3, where there's only 1 protagonist. But now this is the first time they went all in by letting you control both of them at the same time. They have their own AI and move on their own, but you can manually move them yourself if you want. Which can be useful if one of them is blocking the way, or if you want them to get away from enemies, you can give them commands to either be passive or aggressive, like in RE5. You know how everyone yaps about how the original Resident Evil was supposed to be a remake of Sweet Home, that spooky RPG from 1989? Well, Resident Evil 0 took even more inspiration from that game by letting you switch between protagonists whenever you want, each with their own unique skills. Rebecca can mix herbs and is essentially the support character because she can heal everyone, while Billy is the tank because he has big muscles, so he can take more damage. The co-op in 5, 6, Outbreak, having another character following you, having to manage 2 inventories, it all started with 0. Each character only has 6 inventory slots, and you can imagine what a pain in the ass that could be. You don't have enough space to pick up all of the items you need, and this limitation also creates a ton of inventory management if you want to switch items between characters, which is something you'll be doing constantly. You will be looking at this menu for half of the game. But that's not all. What makes Resident Evil 0 different from any other game in the franchise is the fact you can put down items. Yes, they no longer magically disappear when you discard them. That sounds awesome and convenient, right?
No way. We got you. Not a chance.
Well, no. Stop being so naive. Whenever life gives you something good, it has to take something away. Yes, you can put items wherever you want, but there's no item box. You know, the magical boxes that teleport your items to every save room? You don't have that here. The items you put down stay where you left them, meaning that whenever you progress to the next major location in the game, you have to go back to each item and pick them up if you don't want to leave them behind, which obviously creates a ton of backtracking in a game where backtracking is already abundant, and it creates even more backtracking when you remember that you only have 6 inventory slots. So you have to put down all of your items in the new location, run back to the previous location, grab some of the items that you left there, but you can't pick up all of them because you don't have enough space, so you run all the way back, put them on the floor, run all the way back again, pick up some more items, and you repeat this process until you got all of the items you need. Now that's a lot of cardio.
Well, that's my cardio for the week.
Imagine you're playing the first game and you finally reach the garden, but now you have to go back to the mansion to get all of the items in every item box, or at least the ones you want to take with you to the next area, which is something you can actually experience in the remake if you play on real survival mode, but this is okay because it's a bonus challenge. It's not the default way to play the game. What makes this even worse is the fact there's a limit to how many items you can put in one place. I think the maximum is 9 items, so if you want to put more, you have to go to another area. This is the biggest criticism this game receives, and with good reason. It kind of sucks sometimes. It's time wasting. You might think I really hate this game by the way I'm describing it. Most people really hate this approach to the gameplay. But I'm actually fine with this system. That's it. This is the most controversial thing I've ever said. Now you hate me. You hate me? You're going to unsubscribe and tell all of your friends how much of a lunatic I am? But yeah, I like Resident Evil 0. No, I don't want every game to play like this. But it's not nearly as bad as people say it is. It's even kind of fun once you get used to it. There's some strategy to it. Sometimes you want to split up to avoid damaging the other character, because even if only one of them dies, it's game over. It's usually better to control Billy, especially when you're going on your own, because he has more health and can take more damage. But you need to be careful because he can't make healing items. Sometimes it's best to bring both characters to do more damage to the enemies, because then you basically have double the firepower, and together you have 12 inventory slots, so you can pick up more items. But now there's a risk that both of you will get hurt, and you need double the healing items and double the ammo. I kind of like the strategy here, Controlling two characters at the same time sounds weird, but remember all of those times you played a game and an NPC blocked your way and you got mad? You wish you could get them out of the way? Well, now you can. Also, the map now shows you the items you've left behind, in case you forget where they are, which prevents the game from being more frustrating than it could have been. You know what else is cool about this game? You can instantly use a healing item you picked up. So even if you don't have space for it, you can still use a herb, for example. I think it's the first game that allowed you to do that. There's only one, maybe two, annoying segments that are caused by this system, and even then it's not that bad. It's bad, but it's not a reason to hate the whole game. We'll get to it. After deciding to work together, Rebecca and Billy spot that weirdo who likes to sing, and are like, well, that's kind of weird. But not as weird as that one insane guy from Code Veronica. You know, the one who kept saying ridiculous stuff all of the time. That really annoying dude who kept bothering the protagonist. I'm of course talking about Steve. He's the real antagonist of that game. Steve.
Shut up!
This is when Capcom started introducing dramatic, over-the-top villains. But while the ones in Code Veronica were kind of fun and interesting, this one is, not. We'll get to him later. He somehow made the train move, so for now, we need to get out of here. We find a way to get on top of the train, where we get this beautiful shot of the rain as the train is moving, and we move on top of it. Makes me feel like I'm playing Uncharted. We need to connect some cables to power up some doors inside of the train, but then some leeches jump scare Rebecca and she falls down. Damn, Rebecca is just bad at everything she does. Don't worry, she will make up for it later. What I don't understand is how these cables are even functioning. It's raining and there's slime all over them. The character who didn't fall down needs to find a way to unlock the door, because the character that did fall is trapped inside. But remember, Billy is dumb and doesn't know how to mix herbs, so he needs Rebecca to do it for him. Even Chris knew how to do that, and he didn't know how to play the piano. Rebecca needed to do that for him as well. She likes to take care of all of the muscly men.
Oh, what was that?
If you want to combine healing items at this point, you need to go to this service elevator, send an item to Rebecca, switch over to her, mix the medicine, and send it back. It's fine until you realize you can only send one item at a time, and you have to send the elevator back and forth, and you have to watch an unskippable cutscene each time. It's tedious. Thank goodness heavens, Rebecca landed in the one place that also has this elevator, otherwise they wouldn't be able to trade items. After finding a secret ladder and going upstairs, Billy finds an ice pick and a shotgun, which takes up 2 slots. I know I said I like this game, and it does make sense for it to take more space than a pistol, but that's bullshit. I barely have any space to begin with. On the way back, Billy encounters a giant
scorpion.
It's one of many giant animal boss fights in this game. People like to dunk on Resident Evil 0 for having animals as boss fights instead of cool monsters. And yeah, it does have a lot of those, but most of the bosses in Resident Evil 1 were also animals, and you don't hear anyone bitch about that. I don't know how it got on top of the train though. Chronologically, this is the first boss of the entire franchise. After shooting it in the head like 20 times, Billy easily kills the creature and runs back to Rebecca, who unlocks the door with the ice pick he found. They will keep getting separated as the game goes on, but for now they're reunited. They open up a hatch and get attacked by more puppies. Puppies from hell. They go outside again, where they find the hook shot. This is probably the most controversial item in the entire game. In the entire franchise. You'll see why later. For now, it helps us get to another area of the train. Why is there even a hookshot on a train? Is that normal? Only one character can use it at a time, so they split up again.
Oh, hello there!
After finding some key items and a keycard, they're reunited again and use the card to open this door. A cutscene plays where a grunt is speaking to Wesker and William Birkin from Resident Evil 2, the two big W's.
How was the T-virus leaked? And why did it contaminate both the lab and the mansion, as well as a train almost 3 miles away?
That's irrelevant. We must make sure no knowledge of this gets out. Destroy the train. Completely. How far away are you from the nearest branch line?
About 10 minutes to...
What happened?
Now that was what I call a sticky situation.
So the train is about to blow up, because something has to explode in these games. That's inconvenient, so Billy and Rebecca try to stop it. This is the first actual puzzle in the game. They need to input 2 passwords at the same time, on the opposite sides of the train. You need to choose which character will stay here, and which one will do more cardio. Whatever you do not, I repeat, do not forget to take this card. You needed to start the puzzle. The puzzle is simple once you know what to do, which is true for almost every puzzle, unless you can't count. If you can't count, then I don't know what to tell you. Just uninstall the game. But if you're over the age of 4, then here's what you need to do. You need 10 numbers to add up to 81. I personally did 9 times 7 and 3 6s. Rebecca has to do the same, but she needs to get to 67. But her screen is broken. So just memorize the numbers you input. I just did 7 times 9 and then 1 4. At this point, you can see how they start to care about each other. They worry about each other. It's kind of wholesome. But there's no time for that, because the train crashes anyway. And the train section is over. I think, like a lot of people, I used to think the train was the whole game. But nope, one of the most unique locations in the franchise is gone after like an hour of playtime.
Are you alright? Hey, we managed to stop the train.
Yes, we managed.
Thankfully, all of the items you left behind will magically teleport here. This is the last time the game will help you like this, so don't get used to it. They find a lovely sewer, which leads them to...
The Umbrella Research Center?
Wow, what a mansion! There's a giant picture here. Hey, he looks like that old man who turned into poop. What is going on here? This is where we get our proper introduction to the weirdo anime opera singer antagonist of this game.
Who are you?
It was I who scattered the T-virus in the mansion. Needless to say, I contaminated the train too.
What?
Revenge. On Umbrella.
The man in the photo is Dr. James Marcus, one of the 3 founding members of Umbrella. The first one is Spencer, the one who gets his mansion exploded in the first game by a bunch of pesky cops. The second one was Edward Ashford, grandfather of the antagonists from Code Veronica. And the last one is Marcus. These 3 geezers were always fighting each other, because they're greedy billionaires. So eventually, Spencer sent some assassins to murder him. That happened 10 years ago. So of course now, he was resurrected by some leeches he experimented on, but it's not actually him. The leeches somehow created a body that looks like him when he was younger, and they have his consciousness and memories, so it's more like a clone. How does that even work? Why did the leeches wait 10 years to do that? Why do they look like the creepy guy who was always standing next to my elementary school? This clone thinks he's the real James Marcus, but he's actually called the Queen Leech. He was the one who released the T-virus, which infected everyone. So I guess he's responsible for all of the zombies in the first game? Okay, this is where you start seeing that this prequel wasn't really necessary in terms of story. It doesn't really add anything to the overall plot, it doesn't add any needed context to the first game, I was fine with the explanation that the virus just got leaked because of negligence. I don't need a prequel explaining how some singing leeches were actually responsible for everything, but I guess there's something ironic and poetic about the fact that Umbrella are responsible for their own downfall. They killed him, so now he's taking revenge and unleashes their own virus against them. Making a prequel is always a tricky business, since you don't want to retcon anything, or at least not too much, but you also want the prequel to fit in the overarching story of the franchise. You want it to feel meaningful. If you want a good example, look at Yakuza 0. Now that's an awesome prequel. Or here's another example from Capcom themselves. Devil May Cry 3. Now that's an awesome prequel. Yes, Devil May Cry 3 takes place before 1. It's weird, I know.
I can already tell. Looks like this is gonna be one hell of a party!
Speaking of which, for some reason, this is the time period where Capcom wanted their villains to be cartoonishly over the top. Maybe they were really influenced by Devil May Cry, which just started coming out at the time. Even though it massively takes away from the horror, I like the wackiness in this franchise. I like it for its goofy charm. But if you're gonna do that, then go all out, like in Code Veronica. Make everyone completely insane. In Zero, this is just an emo, choir anime singer with no real motivation besides "Grrr, I wanna destroy everything, because I'm angry. Rah."
Revenge.
And all of the other characters are just serious people, and it doesn't really complement each other. It's not that interesting. Okay, so now we're in a mansion, like in the first game, so you know what to expect. Locked doors, weird keys, weird puzzles, and more lichmen? They were specifically created by the Queen, and they are annoying bastards. If you fight them head on, you're gonna have a bad time. I lost like 30 minutes of progress because one of them ambushed me in the bathroom. Also like that creepy guy standing next to my school. They can do a ton of damage. They are tanky, and if you kill them, they will blow up, doing even more damage and releasing small leeches on you. The best thing you can do against them is burn them, either with a grenade launcher or a Molotov cocktail. I'm pretty sure this is the first game in the franchise with throwable weapons. 3 Molotovs are enough to kill them, and will also prevent them from releasing leeches.
Fire seems to work.
This enemy is another thing people like to complain about, but it's actually really easy to deal with them. Most of the time you don't even need to fight them. You just grab the item they're guarding and run away. There's an enemy that is way more irritating. We'll get to it, unfortunately. Rebecca and Billy explore the mansion, perform some sick headshots, slice zombie legs with the shotgun, and step on their squishy heads. Some cool shit. Until they have to separate again, like a high school couple that keeps breaking up after getting back together. Rebecca is a woman, so she can't rotate this crank and operate the elevator, even though literally every other woman in the franchise can do that.
Leave it to me, I'm actually pretty good at this stuff.
She's so weak in this game. She can't even push bookcases. That's a basic skill that any protagonist should have. You even get an achievement if you try. Billy has to use the crank, while Rebecca goes alone, and is immediately jumped by a giant bug. Yeah, this game really likes its bugs. It tries to do something very inappropriate to this 18-year-old, so we give him a shotgun sandwich. After finding more puzzle items, they get back together. Billy, again, has to operate more cranks because he has bigger muscles. His guns are huge. He lifts up a cage so Rebecca could grab a key, but then she's the one who gets grabbed by, you guessed it, another insect monster.
Rebecca!
We have to save her, and I have no idea how she doesn't die from all of the grenades I'm shooting. I guess her bulletproof armor is super effective.
Wow!
Ha! It seems like this bulletproof jacket is pretty strong.
I see.
We squash the bug, and we get another wholesome moment between them.
Rebecca! Are you alright?
Yes, thank you.
Ah, just kiss already. So what if there's a giant bug and the smell of death around you? This is as romantic as it's gonna get in this place. They eventually find a note about this mansion. Apparently, it was used as a training facility for Umbrella's researchers. James Marcus was the head of this mansion facility and thought all of the trainees were dumb idiot poopy heads. Yes, that's exactly what it says here, I swear. But there were two that he liked, Wesker and Birkin. They were really good at their jobs. It's also implied they were, and in this game still are, good friends. Or at least they really respect each other. I think this is the only person Wesker ever liked and didn't immediately want to betray them.
That's right.
Because this mansion is similar to the one from the first game, there are similar puzzles, like this one, where you climb up to reach this deer head to get an item. After solving a clock puzzle, we unlock more doors. Did the people who lived here had to do this puzzle every time they wanted to open a door? This is a question I will always ask in these games.
Weird. How do people normally get in here?
The game doesn't fully utilize the co-op aspect for its puzzles. The game mostly likes to separate the characters and let you figure out how to reunite them, which is a puzzle in itself. The best it can do for an actual puzzle is something like this. In order to unlock more doors in the mansion, you have to put each character next to the correct button, so they will push it at the same time. This is as far as they go in all of their co-op games. At least from what I remember, there are two things that are far away from each other, and both characters need to touch that thing at the same time. Why does that sound dirty? Oh hey! Look, chess! I love chess! Let's play! I'm gonna checkmate you so hard! After completing all of the puzzles in the mansion, Marcus's face opens up to reveal a secret passage. A secret passage in a Resident Evil game? No way! It leads them to Australia, and eventually a dungeon where they kept prisoners, or test subjects, I think. There's a small vent here. Billy can't fit inside because of his oily muscles, which means they have to separate yet again, as only Rebecca can climb inside. She solves a puzzle, which unlocks another passage in the mansion, and then a monkey jumps on her, and she falls into a hole. Ooh, we'll talk about the monkeys soon, don't you worry. At this point, we transition to a cutscene with Wesker and Birkin, which is a very weird place to do that. We literally just saw the protagonist about to die, but the game is like, buddy, pal, yeah, forget about that, she'll be just fine. Look at this cool cutscene. We get to see the antagonists of the first and second game together, which makes you think something cool will happen with them. But nope, they just disappear from the game. Wesker goes on with his plan of luring the Star members to the Spencer mansion and eventually betraying Umbrella, and Birkin continues to work on the G virus. Okay, why are they even in this game? They literally don't do anything. I like this game, but as a prequel, it's such wasted potential. You have two bad guys from two different games, and you don't really do anything with them. Okay, Birkin does say that he will blow up the whole place to remove all of the evidence. That's something, I guess. Wait, if Wesker is here, how did he arrive with Alpha Team on the helicopter in the first game? Did he run all the way back to the station and was like, come on guys, let's go, we need to find Bravo Team, they're in this cool mansion, you gotta see it. How do you know that? Why are you sweating? Did you run all the way here from somewhere? And why do you always wear sunglasses, even when we're indoors and at night? Shut up, Chris. Never mind that. We have to go. No, I have to know. Chris? Stop it.
Chris, stop it.
No! After that, the game reminds us that Rebecca is about to fall to her death. So we should probably go save her. If she dies, who will spray Chris in the face?
Oh no!
Where did you get that bandana, Rebecca? We have to help her while dealing with... the monkeys. They're called the Eliminators because I want to eliminate them from existence, and sometimes I want to eliminate myself after looking at them for too long. The monkeys are way stronger than they look. They might be stronger than the hunters. They're super annoying. If you really want to hate Resident Evil 0, then here is your excuse. It's not the inventory management, it's not the constant backtracking, it's not the leechman, it's these baboons. One of the most annoying enemies in the franchise. Don't get me wrong, the concept of fighting zombie monkeys is cool as shit. It's wacky. It could have been even cooler if they actually threw their shit at me. But no, they suck. I prefer fighting the hunters, even with their attack that chops your head off. Don't feel like it's a waste to use powerful weapons on them. Just get rid of them as soon as possible.
Hello, monkeys!
Because of these apes, Rebecca fell down a hole, but manages to hold on. You know what's insane here? This lady can't turn a simple crank or push a bookshelf. But somehow, she can hold on for like half an hour until Billy gets to her. She has a tight grip. He gets to her just before she falls down, and saves her for the 20th time today. Which I guess makes her really like him, because she keeps lying about him to her captain. Again.
This is Rebecca, over.
Rebecca, this is Enrico. Have you managed to locate Cohen yet? Over. Rebecca, answer me.
No, sir. I have not found him yet. I'll continue to search for him, over.
Why is this dumbass still worrying about some random inmate in the middle of a zombie apocalypse? He's like, oh man, my squad is dying to these zombies and these monsters.
Zombies and monsters.
Well, better find that Cohen fellow. So at this point, you might have forgotten who this character is, because, yeah, the characters in this game are kind of really very bland. Billy supposedly killed over 20 people, and is super duper dangerous. Ooh, a morally corrupt protagonist in a Resident Evil game? But he's been super nice and helpful up until now. So is he actually evil? Is he an evil resident? No, of course not. This could have been an interesting thing to do, but Capcom are cowards, so their characters always have to be morally righteous. The truth behind Billy's arrest is that he was part of a squad and was ordered to shoot innocent people in Africa. For some reason.
But we couldn't just go back home empty-handed, oh no. Our leader ordered us to attack an innocent village.
Billy isn't a psycho, so he didn't want to brutally massacre an innocent village, but because he disobeyed orders, he was knocked out. His squad killed him anyway, and framed Billy for the murder. Something like that. Rebecca made me laugh here.
I need to know the truth. Did you kill 23 people? I'm not going to judge you. I just want to know the truth.
Did you kill all of these people? These innocent people? I'm not going to judge you if you did. It can happen to the best of us.
Did you kill 23 people?
She says, in the same tone I would use to ask someone to pass me some French fries. So yeah, he's innocent, and his whole backstory doesn't matter. Let's move on. We have a nice little combat section where one character has to unlock some doors so the other character can get an item, and that character gets stuck with some hunters. You have no idea how much I miss them after fighting those dirty apes. After that, we get a nice puzzle where you light candles in a specific order according to the text next to each one. It's kind of similar to the picture puzzle in the first game. You know, the one with the crows. I still think it has the creepiest soundtrack in the game, maybe in the whole franchise. Spooky. We then get even more callbacks to the first game. There's a note of someone gradually turning into a zombie, where he eventually starts having worse grammar than me, and writes the word hungry, which is a clear nod to the legendary itchy tasty note.
Today, hungry and eat doggy food.
Then we have the piano. Rebecca has to play it to open a super secret passage, but she sucks and doesn't know how to play yet. She only gets to practice in the first game. You actually need to use Billy here. Yes, a man finally knows how to play the piano. Turns out this beefcake is the most cultured person here. Good job, Billy.
No thanks, Dollface.
Why do these characters randomly start playing the piano in the middle of a zombie apocalypse? It's not like they know it will unlock something. After doing a bunch more puzzles and finding these free tablets, we insert them into this machine to make this erect statue go down. Insert small dick joke here. Now we've reached a completely new area outside of the mansion. And this is where the item management really starts to get annoying. This is the part most people talk about when they say this game is poop. There's a 99% chance that you've left all of your items in the mansion, most likely in the main hall, which is understandable. You obviously didn't know that you're moving on to the next area, so now you have to go all the way back. Get off me! You have to go all the way back and collect your items. Well, you don't have to, you can just leave them behind if you want. Except you do have to go back, because you need to use the hookshot in order to progress. Yeah, the fucking hookshot. And you've probably left it next to the crashed train. So, have fun running all the way back there. Like I said before, this is one of the few times you really have to do this kind of backtracking. It's not as bad as people say it is, and I don't think you should hate the whole game because of this one part, but it is tedious. Before using the hookshot though, you have to fight another big animal, a giant bat. You have to fight alone, because the other character needs to stand on one of these platforms to open the door to the boss arena. It's an annoying fight. It can fly around, dodging your shots, summon smaller bats. It will pick you up like a garbage bag and throw you around. It's like every Tuesday I had in high school. But it's okay. Take a deep breath, wait until it gets close, and bam! You killed Batman's favorite animal. After the fight, you notice a giant hole in the ceiling. I don't know why they would think they need to go there, but this is where you need to use the hookshot. You know why? You know why you needed to backtrack 50 miles to get the hookshot? So you could flip a switch in this back garden and turn on an elevator. Okay, sure, the door was locked so you couldn't reach the switch, but they could have just climbed over this fence. The elevator takes us to a lab, which is not underground, and the lab is not the final location of the game. Wow, talk about subverting my expectations. This is where the virus presumably started spreading. We can see Umbrella staff members that were initially infected by it. This is where Marcus performed his experiments, and it's the first time we see mention of the progenitor virus that he and Spencer discovered, which is essentially the prototype for the T-virus, and for every virus in this franchise. Marcus was obsessed with his research and used his own employees as guinea pigs, something you definitely wouldn't expect from someone working at Umbrella. No. Eventually he developed a fascination towards leeches and started combining them with the progenitor virus, and somehow that made the T-virus. Or something like that. This is another location where you have to separate and use a tiny elevator to trade items. I already explained how that works, and in theory, I'm fine with this system, but I hate that you can only send one item at a time, and you have to watch the cutscene over and over and over again. Sometimes I feel like this game was designed specifically to waste your time. I don't wanna waste my precious time staring at these cutscenes again and again. I have better things to do, like cleaning my cat's toilet, or deleting my browsing history, or meeting with that guy in front of my school. He won't survive this time. There's a puzzle here that only Rebecca can solve, because she's the only one with the medical degree. Only she can mix the chemicals you find in the lab. You have to use these chemicals to unfreeze a sculpture in the shape of a leech, and then use it to unlock doors. Marcus was so obsessed with leeches, he even turned them into keys. He was putting them everywhere. I've never heard of that fetish before. He probably wanted to turn his dick into a leech. The game really starts to feel samey and repetitive at this point. which is something you can honestly say about every Resident Evil game. It starts out great, but then you notice it's been 5 hours and you're still just collecting keys to open doors and reading about someone's fetishes, but some of these games find ways to keep you entertained. Having said that, this is still a classic survival horror game. If you're someone who hates Resident Evil 5 and 6, or you just want a good old school horror experience with fixed cameras and tank controls, or you want a slightly less goofy and less annoying Code Veronica, then this game is great. Again, as a prequel to the original, it's kind of pointless, but it's still a classic survival horror experience. They eventually find a cable car that can supposedly get them out of here, and they sound really happy about it, like little kids that found a new toy.
I found something here that might make you happy. It's an aerial cable car.
Really? That's great. Now we can get out.
Yep, let's regroup as soon as possible. Over.
Roger.
This is the second time I had to backtrack a lot to get all of my items, because I had the feeling that I'm about to head into a new area, but as I'll find out later, I didn't really need to do that. I ended up leaving most of my items next to the train, because the game really started handing me a lot of resources in the later areas. Which makes me think the developers realized that all of this backtracking nonsense is annoying, so they just said, "Hey buddy, you don't need to do that. Here, we'll give you what you need." They activate the train and are about to get on, but Billy gets attacked by a monkey and falls down. What a clumsy guy. Then Rebecca gets attacked by something. I like how it slowly? What the fuck am I saying? I like how it slowly creeps out behind her. She's scared, but the player still has no idea what she is seeing. It's a great setup for a new enemy, maybe even a boss fight. I wonder what it is. Oh, it's another diarrhea monster. Burn, damn it! That's how I always deal with bowel movement.
Burn, damn it!
She gets inside and finds a magnum. It's always a great moment when you find a magnum. The train takes her to a factory, but it's not just some random place, it's a location from Resident Evil 2. The same one with the walkways, where you get chased by Mr. X. Only here it's hunters. We also get on the same giant elevator, which takes us to the place where Sherry was at the end of the game, inside of the save room. Sadly, we can't explore any further than that. Come on, Rebecca, why not? You have no problem exploring the roof of some random church, but you're not gonna go into the research facility behind this crazy outbreak? There's even a variation of the box puzzle that you do with either Sherry or Ada, but you need to have Billy with you because Rebecca can't move the boxes, which is insane. And it's not because, oh, she's a woman, so she's weak. Dude, even Sherry could move the boxes, which are twice her size. A little girl is stronger than her. Rebecca is just bad. She either never went to the gym, or she's just really lazy. Seeing these iconic locations with these visuals is great. It really shows you what a classic remake of RE2 could have looked like. I love the RE2 make, but I would love to see a classic remake, like what the first game got. This is where we originally see Mr. X in the cameras, but instead of that, we see a different tyrant, but he's sleeping like a baby, so it's okay. Because Billy fell down, we can only play as Rebecca for now, which is definitely more challenging. As I've said, she has less HP, and now we only have 6 inventory slots. But it's okay, because we meet Enrico, our beloved captain. Somehow he made it all the way down here. He's gonna help us, right? He's gonna stay with us.
All right. Just be careful.
I never saw him again.
Oh. Well, at least he survived in RE1.
Hell. Umbrella.
Oh. So he somehow survived the events of this game, made it all the way to the Spencer Mansion, even made it inside of the caves, only to die to Wesker. Phew! I'm glad I finally know the backstory to this interesting character. Riveting. Well, at least we activated the elevator and we can get out of here. But suddenly, a tyrant shows up, the one we saw in the cameras. Did he wake up from his nap and started walking around here? Well, it's technically a proto-tyrant. It's an imperfect version of the final boss from RE1. Even though that wasn't perfect either.
You say this failure is your savior?
I hear a lot of people complaining how it doesn't make sense that Rebecca could take on dozens of hunters and a tyrant all by herself. But then in the first game, she cowers in fear from a single hunter. Yeah, I get the confusion, but think about it. She clearly lost her weapons at this point. Maybe she accidentally dropped them, I don't know. But it doesn't matter what your accomplishments are and what kind of monsters you took down. If you don't have a weapon, you're not beating a hunter. Nowadays, Leon would probably beat it with a spin kick and say something like, "Hunters, huh? Guess you just became the hunted." And Chris would just punch it. But back in the OG days, they wouldn't be able to do that, so Rebecca wouldn't either. She can't even push a box. You expect her to defeat a hunter? Also, she was probably super tired after fighting
zombies and monsters
for 2 days straight. She's the only one who has been fighting for this long. The only real inconsistency is the fact she doesn't mention any of this to Chris. He doesn't know about Umbrella yet, so she could have said something like, "Hey, so I've been in this other huge mansion like a few hours ago, and I know that Umbrella is behind all of this." No, instead she talks about how Umbrella are the biggest taxpayers in the area.
They're only the biggest taxpayers around here. They make most of these medicines right here. Homegrown in Raccoon City.
Okay, stop giving me useless facts, Rebecca. We're not playing a trivia game here. But all of that is the remake's fault, not Resident Evil 0. The remake could have done a better job tying both games together. After humiliating the baby tyrant, she gets on an elevator as the antagonist watches her. He really wants to kill her, even though she literally did nothing to him and he doesn't even know who she is. We find Billy, who somehow survived falling down with the monkey, not drowning, and somehow landing above the water. Why did Rebecca even need to take the cable cart? She could have just jumped with him, could have saved a lot of time. He wakes up and sees the corpses of some of the test subjects that Marcus used for his experiments. This horrible sight gives him PTSD and reminds him of all of the innocent people that were slaughtered in front of him. And it's never brought up again. I like the fact that even after getting this far, this deep, you can still backtrack as much as you want. You can still go back to every place you've been to, all the way to the mansion. There's no actual reason to do it, unless you left an important item behind, but it's cool that it's possible. You're never actually disconnected from the previous locations, which is something I really like about the old Resident Evil games. It's like a small open world game. The only place you can't go back to is the train, because, well, it blew up. Oh no, the tyrant is back. He's not dead. He's super powerful. Oh, he died. Easily. Okay. The cutscene where you encounter him is actually different, depending on whether you're alone or not. After riding inside of a box, literally, and running away from some frogs, we use the power of friendship to operate a forklift and get a keycard, which we then use to open this door and get to the final boss. And man, prepare to witness perfection.
Welcome, young one. So glad you have joined the party. You are the guests of honor. After all, it's your wake.
Who are you? Dr. Marcus?
No, you can't be. What's going on?
10 years ago.
Yes, yes, this voice acting. Oh man, I love it.
Oh, time to die, Doctor.
I will take over your research.
So Boken and Wesker were behind his assassination, even though it's implied that he liked them, and he's telling all of this to Rebecca and Billy. Okay, it's ironic how Boken met the same exact end, killed by Umbrella agents because of his research.
I will take over your research.
Then turning into a spooky monster and killing them back. But why is Leechman over here talking about all of this with Billy and Rebecca? Why is he telling them all of this? And am I supposed to feel sorry for him? Is he supposed to be a tragic character? He's the one who basically created the T-virus.
It took the T-virus inside of my queen years to procreate my new life.
I live. Now I will have my revenge on Umbrella, and the world will burn in an inferno of hate.
You'll pay for what you've done.
We'll see which one of us is gonna die.
He randomly starts vomiting, maybe because he was laughing too much, and transforms into a giant leech monster. The transformation sequence actually looks really cool. Reminds me of the movie The Thing. Look at this juicy body horror. The fight itself isn't anything special, you just shoot until you win. Though he does have some ranged attacks, he looks kind of cool with all of these teeth. And when tentacles started coming out of his back, it reminded me of Lisa Trevor. We'll talk about that tragic abomination when we get to the remake. Eventually he goes down, dropping 2 keys, which we use to open this door and get to an elevator. But oh no, the enemy villain is still alive. Oh no, the whole place is about to blow up, because this is the end of a Resident Evil game.
Who activated the self-destruct system?
The opera singer fully mutates, and looks like Nemesis did at the end. They see that weapons aren't enough to defeat him, so Rebecca realizes they have to praise the sun, which is a concept that will be used in another game in the franchise.
Billy, can't handle sunlight. We need to open the windows.
Windows? Don't you mean the roof?
You work on the windows.
Got it.
I'll use my charm to distract Her Majesty.
Billy was doing awkward one-liners before Leon. We have to open the roof in order to expose the leeches to sunlight. There's a note that explains exactly how to do that, which makes you think there's some kind of puzzle element to this boss fight, that you have to follow specific directions. But no, this whole note is pointless, since Rebecca does all of the work. We have to play as Billy and just shoot it occasionally as a distraction. No, Vitamin D, my only weakness. What's the difference between this monster and the Reddit mod? They're both disgusting and never go outside. So there's no difference. Instead of the standard Resident Evil rocket launcher finish, Billy does a Jill Valentine and uses the revolver. This game takes place before Resident Evil 3, so technically, he did it first.
Hey, Queenie! Feast on this!
It falls down into the explosion and dies. They both escape and are finally safe. How did he take off the handcuffs? Why didn't he do it earlier? They have a nice final moment between them. Rebecca assures him she will tell everyone that he died, so he's free to live his life without worrying about the police coming after him. And then they go there.
Separate ways.
Thank you, Rebecca.
Bye, Billy. We'll never see you again. Until we get to the remake, of course. Rebecca incidentally spots the Spencer mansion and goes to regroup with her team, while Billy, I don't know, he's never mentioned again. Imagine if he went with her. He could have helped out, he and Chris could have been buddies. The only question remaining is, where did she get that bandana? Where is it in the remake? And where are the dog tags she just took from him? Now I need another prequel to explain all of that. Resident Evil is a franchise that keeps reinventing itself with each entry. Every game introduces something new to the table. Sometimes it completely reinvents itself, like it did with RE4 in 2005, and with 7 in 2017, which happens around every 10 years. And it's almost been a decade since RE7. That's it. I'm calling it now. Resident Evil 10 will be another reinvention. It's going to be an isometric top-down shooter, or a beat-em-up where you play as Chris, or Joe Baker. This is the end of Resident Evil 0, but the HD version added something new. Wesker mode. Rebecca looks like Jill did in RE5 with the black suit and that red mind-controlling device, which is on her chest and not on her head, which is weird. While Billy is literally Wesker, though he still has his own voice, which doesn't really fit, which makes this funnier.
Listen, little girl, if you haven't noticed, there's some pretty freaked out things on this train. And I, for one, want to get out of here.
And he doesn't have handcuffs, even in scenes where they should be clearly visible. But he does use the Wesker voice in gameplay.
This is your chance.
Okay.
Stay there.
Roger.
Come.
Roger.
I don't need this.
Roger.
This is your chance.
Roger.
I bet he's happy being next to Rebecca, considering he hides her photograph in his desk.
Been fantasizing about me, have you?
It's a fun mode. You essentially go through the story with the ability to one-shot everything when playing as Wesker, but not by punching or kicking, you kill with your eyes. I don't remember him having laser eyes, but okay. He can also run really fast, like he's looking for the nearby toilet, which is always fun. Rebecca doesn't get anything though. She's still just a normal human who can't push boxes. She does look good though. There's also leech mode. You run around collecting leeches, and you can't drop them once you pick them up. It's kind of fun, I guess, in a gross and sticky way. Why are you collecting leeches, you weirdos? Resident Evil 0 is kind of a pointless prequel. Story-wise, it doesn't add anything important to the lore, it doesn't expand upon any character in a meaningful way. Instead, it introduced Billy, who is okay I guess, but he was never seen again after this. He's on a rejected island, along with Shiva, Helena, Pierce, and every other character that only appeared once and is never mentioned again. The game also didn't do anything with Rebecca. It didn't show how she evolved or grew stronger as a character. I didn't feel like I've gained new insight into these people or the Resident Evil storyline. She's still a cutie pie, so it's okay. Having said that, as a game, it's good. It does forces you to manage your inventory a little too much, and the atmosphere isn't as strong as the previous games, but overall, I enjoyed it. Everyone's obsessed with remakes nowadays, so we're probably gonna get one for this game in the next 2 or 3 years, which could be interesting and fun. Maybe they will tie it better to the overall franchise, but in the meantime, you can play the original version. It's not the best, but it's underrated.
Zombies and monsters.
This was the last game to have the classic fixed cameras and tank controls. It's kind of like the swan song for the franchise, before Resident Evil 4 changed everything.
Bingo.
Well, at least in the numbered games, there was a really underrated side game called Resident Evil Gaiden. No, I'm kidding, no. There was a side game called Resident Evil Outbreak. Nowadays, most people know about it thanks to Requiem. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Do all of the YouTube stuff. And don't forget to laugh like a maniac.
10 years ago.